Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 166, which of course, Aaron, means 500 more episodes and we get the highly anticipated Hail Satan episode. Now, the Sharks had a interesting week. They did the things that we like. They did the things that we don't like. But before we get to some of that stuff, we had an episode just the last episode here, 165, where we had the opportunity to speak with the amazing, awesome, talented, ageless Randy Hahn. He did his 2000th call, and we'll be talking about the game in just a second here, but he had his 2000th call. Now, there was a little bit of a misunderstanding. It was actually 2000 specifically Sharks NHL games. So he's actually done probably, I think he said somewhere in the ballpark of 2,300, 2,400, something like that. But which is absolutely amazing. So it was really awesome being able to get a chance to talk with him. I highly suggest that if you guys are a fan of Randy Hahn and you're a fan of the show, obviously, because you're watching us here, go check that one out after the live stream is done. He's a great guy to talk to. He's got some fun stories, and it was just a lot of fun. Aaron, real quick, talk to us a little bit about your, I guess, experience on that episode, because it was a lot of fun. So just let the people know what you thought about that.
Sure. It was awesome to have him back on the show. It was his 2000th regular season Sharks game. So he's done, that doesn't even include all the playoff games that he's been doing over the years. Doesn't include the other NHL games, because he's done some affiliate games and some other stuff. So 2000 regular season calls. It's amazing. He's really fun to talk to. I mean, I don't know if none of you have ever met him in person. He is exactly what you would think he is like. He's very nice, very generous, loves talking hockey, loves chatting it up with everybody. So, I mean, we probably spent a whole nother hour afterwards hanging out and chatting. So that unfortunately was not on the air, and we got to talk about some other stuff, which is cool. He's a big soccer fan, so we were talking about the World Cup, which just wrapped up. So some other stuff. It's fantastic. The interview I thought went really well, and I thought it was freezing cold, so I think towards the end I was starting to shiver, but it was a great night, and very fortunate to have him on our show, and you should definitely check it out if you haven't already.
I can absolutely attest to it being pretty cold there. If you guys noticed, I had actually forgot my Fin Factor polo that I usually wear. I swear I put it in the car, but it found its way out somehow. Yeah, I know. Great. So I was wearing, fortunately, I was just happened to be wearing my teal Fin Factor t-shirt. And I had my nice big jacket. So I was wearing that right next to the door there. Aaron, we had you closer to the doorway. I don't know why we did that. I was the one with the jacket. You were not. So I apologize. We're getting you nice and chilly on that one there. But just real quick, Peter St. John says he really enjoyed that interview, and it's neat hearing Randy talk. Yeah, it absolutely is. We're so used to hearing him just on the TV and doing the call, and every once in a while a little bit of intermission or a little bit for pregame or postgame or interviewing, but we never like kind of get to sit down and just chat, right? He's always talking at you, not so much with you. So this is really a fun experience. We've done it before, obviously, in episode number, I think it was 14, and to have him come back, 150 something episodes later, just really cool. And he made the joke that he did his 2000 call, and that we want to get him back on the show. He says, when you guys do your 2000th episode, I'll be back. And I was hoping we get him back on, but I think he was just joking, but I hope we get him back on before 2000 episodes. So we'll see. Hey guys, right now, I appreciate you guys in the chat and everything. Doing great there. Appreciate that. If you're liking the stream so far, make sure you do hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, please go ahead and do that. Hit the notification bell. You'll know when we're going live, then when we can have these conversations and stuff. Tons and tons of fun. Love doing this with you guys. Oh, Taylor hitting us with the super chat. I didn't even get to talk about super chat yet. Wake me up when it's draft day. Okay, Taylor, we'll get there too, I'm sure. Hey, man, appreciate your support of the show. Yeah, Aaron, draft day. Are we looking forward to the draft already? I know we're only we're less than halfway through the season. Look, yeah, of course we're looking. Go ahead, tell him about it, dude.
The draft is going to be a strong draft for the top 5 guys. So most likely these top 5 will be NHL ready players. So usually there's maybe 1 or 2 in a draft, and this year has about 5 of them. So excited for the Sharks. I mean, we talked about this with Randy, like the Sharks new staff, they have a dedicated person for the first 2 rounds of the draft. And then they have a whole nother crew for rounds 3 through, was it 7? So the Sharks are really, really changing their, I don't know, philosophy in the draft. And I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. Think about it. They have a person dedicated to the first 2 rounds, and they only have 2 picks right now in the first 2 rounds. You think they're going to go and get some more picks so that guy has some work to do? I think so. I think that was a little telling.
You know, maybe it's telling for a guy like you, Aaron. You're just on top of the things right there. So I appreciate that. Hey, Taylor says, love y'all. He was the guy that gave us the $5 super chat. Hey, love you right back, buddy. Thanks again for supporting the show. If you want to be as good as Taylor here and support the show, you can do the exact same thing that he just did, which was use the super chat function. So again, Taylor, thank you so much for that. If you don't want to do super chat and you'd rather go through Venmo, we are at the Fin Factor. You can do the exact same thing. Put a comment in there. We'll go ahead and read it out live on the air, or if it's in the between shows, we can always just throw it into the next show and get your comment in there. So there you go. By the way, the best thing for you guys to do, I know the like button and all that stuff is all great. The best thing you guys can do for us is share. If you can retweet, share, get us back out there to all your Sharks friends and family. Would absolutely appreciate that, and it does help the show quite a bit. So I've got some other comments here. Reimer is going to net SJ a second, probably. What do you think? Do you think he gets us a second?
Without anything in return, I don't know. It depends. Hard to say. It depends on how desperate a team is. How many teams that are in a playoff position who maybe have a goalie tender that either gets hurt or is playing poorly, but the rest of the team is doing well. Like, it's just number of factors for goalies. Goalies are tough because of the demand. Like, there needs to be a strong demand to get basically competition, because there's going to be more teams that need to kind of bid on him, if you will. So yeah, it's possible. I think you can get a second round. I think that'd be fantastic return for Reimer, especially since he's a rental player because his contract is up.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of in the same boat. I feel like we'll get a pretty decent haul for him. You know, unfortunately, and we'll just jump right into this game. The Sharks against Arizona, 3-2 win. This was Reimer's first home win of the season. Now, you're talking about a guy that's probably going to get you a second round pick, right? And it's his first home win of the season. It's kind of bonkers to think of it that way. But, I mean, he really has been just that good in front of the Sharks, and the Sharks just really haven't played well in front of him. And a lot of that has to do with some of the depth, right? But you know, again, this is one of those players that is kind of outperforming the rest of the team. I think he's just that good of a goaltender, but he's just unfortunately playing for us this season. So again, 3-2 win, first one of Reimer for Reimer this season. Aaron, we do have a clip from Quinn talking about the Sharks play, but again, just wanted to call it again. This was Randy Hahn's 2000th. So when you go back and check out this interview, this is the game that they played for that 2000th game. And Randy had said, gosh, it was nice for them to get a win on this game specifically for me, you know? So I wonder if that kind of played into their minds at all. But Aaron, actually, you know what? We don't have a clip, but there was something that Coach Quinn was talking about. Let me set this up real quick. We were having some issues getting clips and whatnot for this show because super producer Jason is actually doing this from LA. Again, the man's a wizard. I know it's all online anyway, but he's a phenomenal guy at what he does. And he's getting it done, even if he's not at home. So with very poor,
Thank you.
With very poor internet service and whatnot, he's getting it done. Now, why am I small? I'm pumping your tires here, SPJ. Okay, Aaron. So what would the clip have said? It was Coach Quinn talking about their play.
This was after the Arizona win, so of course they're excited and happy. They're always happy after a win, even when the season's going poorly. So he was excited because both this Arizona game and the game before that was against Anaheim. They were finally kind of putting stuff together and playing well and doing the things that they needed to do. They were working on not turning over the puck and having more puck possession and control of the game. And he thought that they did that really well. So it was kind of a turnaround of what they've been preaching, if you will, for the last, I don't know, couple of weeks, probably all season, actually, if you think about it. So, yeah, I think, I just saw that. Peter St. John, thank you for the $10. That's, you didn't even put a comment. Merry Christmas, boys. There's the next comment. Thanks, Peter. I appreciate it.
Wow.
Peter is a big regular of our show, and when he does miss the show, you should see his comments because it takes up the entire page of the website when you look at it from a computer. Can't imagine
what I just
phone,
noticed? Super producer Jason, SPJ, Peter St. John, PSJ.
Wow.
Is Peter St. John a real person, or is this just super producer Jason? With lots of comments.
Nice.
Anyway, hey, Peter, again, thank you for that, man. We really do appreciate you supporting the show and the mystery deepens. Nice. Now, super producer Jason there. I'm technically challenged. Okay. Well, hey, man, again, we appreciate you so much. Thank you. And Merry Christmas right back to you. So, Aaron, the whole thing, were you done with the comment there? I didn't quite catch. I just saw the $10 and blacked out for a second. So go ahead.
No, it was Peter Quinn. It was Coach
David
Quinn was just praising the team and finally kind of doing what they should have been doing all season, and they should be better in the standings than they are. But kind of a 2 whole games there. If you look at the Anaheim game right before that too, which was last week, we talked about it already, but those 2 games combined, the Sharks are actually on a win streak, which has not happened very often this season. So yeah, he was excited. Randy Hahn, it was his 2000th call, and I think the Sharks gave him a little gift. I don't have the picture of it, but there was a picture of him. I think it's on our episode actually. He was with the team afterwards down in the locker room, and they awarded him a gift down there, which is pretty cool. So it's awesome that he got the win because the Sharks are not doing so well this season. So he at least got a win on his 2000th call. In fact, he said his 1000th call, the Sharks lost and they played against Calgary. He remembered the exact team and probably date too. So amazing that all that is stored in his head. Imagine how much information is in that guy's head. Like,
Yeah.
Just unreal how you can recall all that stuff. Anyway, yeah, that unfortunately we don't have the clip, so you had to listen to me ramble about a clip.
It's okay, man. Everybody who's here is used to it.
Oh, I can't lie, it was, a lot last, month, and
It's sad?
Jason's favorite clip.
The second clip I had today, I picked purposely for Jason. It was a clip of Hertl talking. You could have added.
Oh, I can't lie, it was, a lot last.
Oh my God, you are killing me. So moving on from the Arizona game, again, 3-2 win, all fun and all that. That's great. The Sharks lose to the LA Kings in the shootout, 2-3. Aaron, I'm going to be honest, I didn't even see this game. I had other things going on. I was super busy. So this is all you. Is there anything you want to talk about in this game, or can we just move on?
It was an exciting game. It was 2-2, and they went all the way to the shootout. So the Kings scored first, and then Timo came back and tied it. And then the Sharks took the lead with another snipe from Kevin LeBanc, who has found his scoring touch. And then they tied it at the end of the second period. Nothing happened in the third. So then they went all the way to overtime. Then they went to the shootout, and the Sharks just couldn't. They got 1 goal. They got Kevin LeBanc actually scored the one lone shootout goal the Sharks got. But it was a good game. I mean, it's always great to play LA and play well because they're kind of up there in the standings. So I think I hate the shootout. It should have been a tie. I especially coming off the World Cup, I'm so used to seeing ties. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. So I think shootouts are just silly because if one person scored and the other team had one guy that missed the goal, then we're talking about a win here instead of a loss. So it's just silly. I hate it. So to me, it's a continuation of their decent play and their streak of getting points. So at least they got a point. But at the same time, I don't want them to get any points. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, even when they lose and we want them to lose, they still get a point somehow, some way. But they heard our prayers in the Calgary game at least. So the Sharks lose this one by a score of 5-2. So out of 6 possible points, they still pick up 50%, which is screwing up that 0.383 that we were talking about last episode, Aaron. I don't know what they're thinking here, but so yeah, the Sharks lose to the Kings, whatever. This game a little bit more interesting because there's a few more things going on in this game. As I'm sure many of you guys know, Karlsson actually picked up his 700th NHL point. Aaron, did you see the play where he got it?
It was an assist, wasn't it?
Beautiful assist.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Right off the face off. I think it was on right off the power play. The first draw on the power play. I think it was Hertl won it back to him, and he just loads up like he's going to crank this thing on net, and then it's a slap pass down to I believe it was Timo. Timo grabs it, fires it in the net. Easy points, easy money.
This was you were at the game for this one, right?
Yes, I was at the game. So in if you put it in the chat right now, everybody, if you were at this game and you hung around and watched during the first intermission, did you happen to see the kids from the Cupertino Cougars 10U A team doing the shootout? If you did, you caught my son scoring a goal and doing the little archer move. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I was really happy seeing that one in the intermission, let alone the Sharks play. That was cool. But seeing them go out and do that. So again, put that in the chat if you were there and you saw the shootout and everything else. Kathy from Kathy's Power Skating actually has it on her Instagram. My son taking the shot. It was really cool. So yeah, that was really awesome stuff. But yeah, so I was at that game. Super producer Jason was actually at that game as well. He had some really nice tickets and offered me one of them to kind of sneak down and get some better food options. So thank you for that, Super Producer Jason. Yeah, he's a man of all trades. I love it. So yeah, again, Karlsson getting his 700th point, quite the milestone. And again, the way that he got it done is just kind of it's representative of everything that I love about Erik Karlsson's offensive game, right? It's just that vision, the deception. There wasn't the skating involved necessarily, but it was very deceptive to load up like he was going to shoot, and then he fires it perfectly, tape to tape, right down to Timo. So this is like, for me, vintage Erik Karlsson, and it's the way that you want a milestone point. It just represents everything that you've been doing for your entire career. You know, it wasn't one of those weird ones where he gets it and passes it off to somebody else and they kind of bobble it or whatever, and it gets in, somebody bangs it home, and okay, I got a point. No, this was him essentially causing this goal by being brilliant. So very happy with that one there. Aaron, anything you want to say about the 700th point? I know you've got a link here about defensemen. I don't know if you wanted to bring this up.
Yeah, that's the all-time scoring defenseman. He is ranked now 26th. Ahead of him, the only player ahead of him that is currently playing is, funny enough, Brent Burns. He's in 17th place with 799. So one more point and he gets his 800th point, which is incredible. Now, Brent Burns' stats are a little skewed because he did play forward for a number of years. So that's not all quite defenseman scoring. It's a little cheating in a way. But Karlsson is up there. He's just ahead of Chris Pronger. So he just passed him. Pronger's at 698. And he did it in almost 300 less games. So it's I love looking at this list and seeing the list of names on here. You know who is on here above him at number, I just saw it, where did it go? Number 15 at 827 points. Doug Wilson is up there. He's still ahead of Brent Burns. Some other big name people. I mean, the top is Ray Bourque, 1579. Paul Coffey, Al McInnes, Phil Housley, sorry. Larry Murphy, Nicholas Lidstrom, Dennis Poppin. These guys are just, everyone that's here is in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. So he is in good company. No doubt he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I love going down memory lane, seeing all these names here because I watched a good majority of them. Now, one thing that did stick out to me, everyone always talks about how great Bobby Orr was. You know how great he was? Because I didn't get to watch him play. He was before my time. He's the only player on this list that's under 1,000 games. He played 657 games. It's not very much.
Wow.
Because he had knee problems. 915 points in 657 games. It's insane. Insane. As a defenseman. Probably one of the first real offensive defensemen. Yeah. This is why people always compare him to possibly being a greater player than Wayne Gretzky, but he had health problems and couldn't stay in the lineup. So I worked out the stats. I was like, okay, I'm going to take his points per game and multiply it by Ray Bourque's 1,612 games played, which is the most by defenseman. And he came out over 2,200 points.
Jeez.
So yes, Bobby Orr is fantastic. And I'll go off on a little more of a tangent here. The Norris Trophy. This is why I think the Norris Trophy should be split. Norris Trophy should be defenseman, best defenseman. Bobby Orr Trophy should be the defenseman with the most points. Because it's not always the same. It's different metrics that you can measure for best overall defenseman versus just the best offensive defenseman. Because too many times the Norris Trophy for best defenseman just goes to whoever scored the most points. When I don't know, I don't think that's quite fair. And everyone loves trophies, so I think they should add that in there.
Peter St. John saying that's crazy, and with regard to the amount of points. Debbie Smith wants to know, is Murray, I'm guessing Douglas Murray, on there? No. Debbie, I'm guessing he's not. I'm pretty sure he's not on there.
I only did. I'm only looking at the first page, and it only goes to 25. Or I'm sorry, 50. Yeah, he's not. I had to scroll way down. I didn't see him.
You could probably be in the top 500. I don't think you're going to see Doug Murray on there.
Love Doug Murray. Nothing against Doug Murray.
No.
Awesome.
Great guy. Just offense wasn't what he was there for. So if you wanted biggest hits. Yeah, biggest hits, I think Doug Murray would be up there for sure. Peter St. John says, I've been called an offensive defenseman. Yeah, I've been called an offensive defenseman too. The way I played defense was pretty offensive to my teammates. So I think maybe that's what you were talking about. I don't know. Douglas Murray finished with a career 29 points. Yes, I don't think he's on there. So, oh my goodness. Thank you for that, LM. Little stats checking there. Awesome stuff. So the big thing that happened here with the Sharks, it was actually a fairly close game up until the third period. And there was a complete and utter meltdown after a specific thing happened, which we'll talk about in just a second. But we just want to state that the penalty that happened led to the meltdown. Okay. So in the first 2 minutes and 10 seconds of the third period, they scored, I think it was like 3 straight goals. It was just like, you couldn't even get another handful of popcorn and another goal. And yeah, so the game just got away from them right away. It was ridiculous. Now, I was there at the game. Did you happen to see the game on TV or listen to it on Sharks Audio Network? How were you experiencing the game, Aaron?
I was watching it at home on the couch, and thankfully I was sitting on the couch when it happened. The Sharks started with like 5 seconds left on the power play. Hertl instantly takes I think they called it a high stick, right? It wasn't a slash, although it looked more like a slash. But off the face-off, he gets cross-checked 3 times, so he retaliates and kind of hits him with a stick. Cross. He didn't hit him hard, but he hit him in the face like a baseball swing almost with a stick. Like, hey, get off of me. And they called it a penalty, 2-minute penalty. They score on the power play, and then, oh my gosh, I gotta look up this time actually, because it was only 17 seconds later they scored another goal. So it was 2-1. Then the power play goal made it 3-1, and then 17 seconds later it was 4-1, and then another less than a minute and a half later they scored again to go up 5-1. And I think only one of those really was kind of capping and probably should have stopped. The other 2, he was hung out to dry. There wasn't anything he could even do. So it wasn't like he just had a brain fart or anything. It was the whole team just kind of melted down here on defense. So I feel bad for Kapanen because there's nothing else he could have done better for most of them. But man, that even the one goal just deflating when you go down 3-1 after it's 2-1, and you were on the power play. Like, you should have been at least getting some chances to tie the game. So Hertl, I had a clip here of Hertl afterwards talking about the hit, and he said that he's like, I got cross-checked and I tried to stick check him and I missed and I hit him in the face. He's like, you're never trying to hit people up high. I wasn't trying to hit him there. And even in the video that player safety sent out, they said that he has zero history in 600 and something games played. So he's never been suspended or even fined for anything. So he's definitely not a dirty player.
Right.
But he did get suspended for 2 games for it, which was just announced tonight or today. So Hertl will miss the next 2 games, which just so happens to fall right into Christmas break. So his Christmas break just got extended. So I was joking with the fantasy hockey league that we have here that like he totally timed this perfectly so that he could get extended time off with his kids for Halloween for Christmas time.
Wow.
So, but the good news is he's the kind of guy that takes a beating and he's going to be well rested coming back after the Christmas break. I think this will only help him be stronger and, less beat up kind of. You get those little bruises and knocks will be gone and be feeling healthy and 100% versus 85, 90%. So it'll be a good thing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say my I'm gonna say my piece after this, I guess. A $5 super chat from Edgar V. Thank you, Edgar. Edgar, let's see. Finally, I get to see a live stream. Hello from Anaheim. Okay, all right. Did the Sharks make reservations for Connor Bedard already? I mean, I don't know. You're in Anaheim. I feel like there's a little bit of a competition there for Connor Bedard between Anaheim and then San Jose. So I don't know. I mean, Edgar, let me know what you think. Do you think that the Sharks are going to get a little bit lower than the Anaheim Ducks are going to get, and you have a better chance of picking them up? I would love to hear your thoughts on that one. But again, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Do appreciate that. If anybody else would like to support the show, you can do it in the exact same way that Edgar just did. Super chat. You can also do Venmo at The Fin Factor. In fact, you can go to thefinfactor.com, pick up any of the merchandise that we have there to support the show that way if you'd like to get something in return. So again, Edgar, thank you for that $5 super chat. Aaron.
Yeah.
Anything?
Oh, yeah.
No?
Thanks. That was awesome.
Wow. I'm appreciative,
Sorry.
Hertl. I'm going to take that $5 and put it in my pocket. He's not getting a thing. There you go. Well done, Super Producer Jason. Okay. The Hertl high stick 2-game suspension thing. Okay. First of all, let's do a roll call real quick. Obviously, we know Edgar is in Anaheim, but we want to know where the rest of you guys are listening from. And do you think the 2-game suspension seems a little too harsh? Do you think 2 games was too much for a guy who, like Aaron said, has absolutely no history of this whatsoever? And I think they had said that while we realized that there was no intent to injure, really, right? It was just kind of almost like a love tap, I guess. But is 2 games too much? Should it have been just 1 game? Should it have been just a fine? Could it have just been a high stick penalty and a slap on the wrist, and then that's the end of it? What do you guys think in terms of the 2-game suspension? And you know what, Aaron, I'm going to throw this to you first because I'm going to go on a rant. And when I go on a rant, it tends to get drawn on for a while. So why don't you go ahead and say your piece? Do you think that this was too harsh?
I mean, what I would like to have seen is maybe an opposite angle, because I saw practically the same angles that they showed on TV. There wasn't anything different. And to me, it didn't look that bad. Like, yeah, it was a high stick. He hit him in the face. He didn't hit him hard, but I think 2 games is a little harsh. I think 1 would have been fine. I would have been fine. I mean, we knew it was going to be a suspension because they announced that he had a hearing today. And when they announced that there's a hearing, there's at least a couple games there or a game there. So there's definitely a suspension that was coming. I don't know. 2 games just seems rough. I mean, and I say it that way, but I'm also kind of glad because now maybe the Sharks won't win those 2 games because they don't have Hertl in the lineup. But that's neither here nor there. Tomas Hertl is not a dirty player. I don't know. He got cross-checked 3 times before that. That if you want to look at it, I'm not going to say whataboutism, but I think if the refs are trying to crack down on cross-checking, crack down on cross-checking. Do your job. If you don't do your job, this is what's going to happen. People are going to react, and they get, physically beat up, they're going to get emotional about it and do something about it because the referees aren't. So I pinned this slightly on the referees for not calling that and controlling that to begin with.
Oh, I can't lie, it was, a lot last, month. And
Okay. Do I think it was too harsh? No. Should it have been one game? I don't know, maybe, whatever. If the fact that it's 2 games, sure, why not? I have no problem with him being suspended, because whether you think that you were trying to go after the stick or whatever, I don't even think I'm buying that. I think he wanted to give him a little love tap right where he was aiming. But you can, if you really want, there was no intent to injure. If you really wanted to hurt the guy, like, yes, he hit him in the face with a stick. So it's hard to say that, oh, there's no intent to injure. But the way I see it, if he wanted to hurt the guy, he would have baseball swing, just clocked him in the head, right? Like take his head off with like an axe swing, right? He clearly didn't do that. It was more of a reach and touch kind of thing. Like if it was like a cat, right? A cat just like reaches his paw and just smack right in the face, right? That's what that was. This was not, I'm trying to kill this person, right? So I'm not really believing that there's any intent to injure. However, again, I agree. You should not be doing that, getting the stick anywhere near a guy's face on purpose. If it's you're turning and you're stick lifting and your stick happens to get up and hit a guy in the face inadvertent, fine, it's a penalty, got it. But the fact that he was looking at the guy, he was upset with the guy, and he went after him, cool, no problem, suspension, great. 1 game, 2 game, I could care less. Where I take issue, and it's the same thing that you're just talking about just now. He got cross-checked 3 times. The puck wasn't even near. This guy is trying to hurt his arm. He's cross-checking him. If you look right in that space, that's between the pads. I think it was right over the elbow, and he's cross-checking him in that spot that's between the elbow guard and where the shoulder pad comes down. There's right in that soft spot in between, and he's just drilling him. That to me is intent to injure. He's trying to cross-check him and hurt him. It's not like they're in the boards and he's just trying to throw him off his balance, and that's a cross-checking penalty. The puck's not even nearby. He's just trying to hurt Hertl. And the thing that I don't like about this is I don't want anybody to think that, oh, it's because it's against the Sharks, that's why Paul's against this. The examples I can draw from are from the Sharks, right? You look at Hertl just the other night. You look at the Pavelski, him getting cross-checked off the face-off. Now, that's not what sent him overboard. It was his leg getting tangled up and the other guy's knee or whatever it was, and he kind of went backwards on it. But it's this, right after I lose a face-off, I need to cross-check the guy to win in some way, shape, or form. It's very childish, if you ask me. And I wish, in the same way that you just said, Aaron, I wish that the referees would just call it. Just call it. We have so many ticky-tack penalties that get called on a daily basis where a guy gets tripped, but it wasn't really a trip. He just kind of skated over my stick, and my stick was just laying there. It's a hook, but it wasn't really hooking him. My hands were just up by the gloves. I didn't really hook onto him. Or a slash. Well, it's not really a slash. I was just kind of knocking his stick out of the way, but it was kind of more in a downward motion, right? It's not even breaking the stick in that case, and they still call it a slash. We have so many of these, like, well, sort of. But then once you get a guy who is literally just there to cross-check you repeatedly 3 times after the puck has been dropped, after the puck was won, and this guy's just drilling away at his arm. Why aren't we calling this? And again, I don't care if it's against the Sharks. I just care in general that it's happening and it just doesn't get called. The only time you ever see cross-checks get called anymore is right in front of the net when a guy's standing there and he gets hit from behind. And even then, that's a rare occurrence. So I don't know what it takes for the NHL to look at this and go, yeah, a cross-check is a cross-check, and we should probably be calling it because it's in the rule book. Why that's not being called is just, it boggles my mind. So that to me is the main takeaway of this. So when I look at this and I see Hertl gets a suspension, my initial reaction is good. Hit the guy in the face with your stick. And I don't want to condone violence like that. But for me, yeah, hit the guy in the face with your stick. You know why? Maybe he'll think twice next time before he just starts cross-checking a dude repeatedly. And if this is what it takes for the referees to go, man, we should probably call this before it gets out of hand, then so be it. 2 games well worth it, buddy. Take your vacation, rest up. And if it happened again, I would say the exact same thing. If the dude's going to cross-check you that many times in the arm, something needs to be done. And if the refs aren't going to do something about it, take a 2-day vacation. That's my rant on it. I'm honestly, I'm just sick of seeing it. Again, not just against the Sharks. I'm just sick of seeing cross-checking. And we've seen this happen time and time again, previous seasons. So this isn't anything new that I'm bringing up. And I'm singing the same song. So it's just when it happens over and over, I don't know why they don't call it. I'm tired of seeing it. It is a penalty in this league in the same way that the ticky-tack calls with the tripping and the hooking and the slashing and all these ones that aren't really that, but they kind of are. This is just blatant outright cross-checking. Call it. And I don't know why they don't. So that's my rant. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Aaron, what do you think? Am I way off basis?
No, but I think it's hilarious that in the player safety video, they mentioned that Hertl gets cross-checked several times and then strikes the guy. I would be okay if he got that 2-game suspension and they fined Lindholm. Like, he doesn't need to get suspended for those cross-checks, but something, like fine him. Fine him the max, which is probably like $5,000, like whatever. Fine him for those cross-checks. Let the league know that if you're going to cross-check like that, it's going to be a fine at the minimum, because they're watching everything even after the game. Even if it wasn't a penalty in the game. That's the other thing, is they called it a penalty in the game, rightfully so, on Hertl. So that should also take the sting out of getting suspended a little bit, because it was called a penalty, and they scored, and Lindholm wasn't hurt, and he kept playing. So it's just annoying. And I mean, what's great is someone just, who was it? Kellen just said, does someone go after Lindholm in tomorrow's game? No one's going to go after him for that. That wasn't his goal to get Hertl suspended. That's not what he was trying to do. It's not like it was a dirty hit and he knocked out Hertl for getting injured or something. Then somebody would go after him. But it's great that the Sharks are going to be playing them again at home, back to back. I bet there's going to be some carryover from the last game, especially since the Calgary Flames kind of blew them out at the end there.
Would not be surprised. Not sending like Gadjevich out there to go get him specifically because Hertl got suspended for it. But Forget the suspension. I'm just talking about when you are blatantly cross-checking a guy repeatedly like that, the response should have been in that game, quite frankly.
Yeah.
It should have been in that game. You can't get away with drilling our number one center repeatedly just because you lost a draw. You're not going to get away with that, and I'm coming after you for it. And the fact that there wasn't really a response, not that I remember, maybe there was and I missed it, but I don't think that there was a response, and it should have happened in the game, especially since, hey man, you guys, you melted down in the first 2:10 after the puck drop. You're not winning this game. I think you send a message to that guy. You don't get to go after, and it wasn't like it was like, they scored 5, to make it 5-2. And then, 10 minutes later was that fifth goal. And now we're going after you because now we realize we're probably not going to win the game. No, it was 2 minutes and 10 seconds later. That would still be an immediate response. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. The guy probably didn't even take another shift until the 2 minutes and 10 seconds later. So, yeah, I think it should have happened in that game. The fact that it didn't is a little bit disappointing, and I would expect to see something happen in the next game, because you just can't allow guys to get away with that against your. Imagine if that was Kucherov or McKinnon. Do you think that they wouldn't come to his aid after he's getting drilled in the arm repeatedly? Like I don't know. I don't think that's something that a guy should be able to just skate off with. Nah, he got tapped in the face. As you said, he continued playing. There was no injury. He was fine. I think somebody's got to go and let him know you can't do that sort of thing. And again, for me, though, it's more on the league. It's more on the league and it's more on the refs. The refs missed 3 cross checks in a row, but they caught the love tap on the cheek. I think the league needs to do better. So, again, that's my whole rant on that one there. So, I don't know if you're ready to move on. I'm happy to move on, but that's what it is.
Get on with it.
Get on with it. I will get on with it. Player cards. This is an interesting one, Aaron. The Athletic does this thing with player cards. In fact, why don't you just go ahead, because I've done a lot of talking. Why don't you go ahead, explain the player cards, and then you've got some really interesting information here that I think the folks that are listening would be very happy to see. But before we get to that, sorry, Edgar just threw down another $2 in the super chat. December 2018, Bennett injured Shimmick, no suspension. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's always against just the Sharks where, we have teal colored glasses on or whatever you want to say there. But I think it happens all across the league in different teams and guys just miss it. But I don't know, Aaron, what do you think?
Player safety is such a God, I can't think of the word, but you never know what they're going to do. You don't know what they're going to suspend or not suspend or how long or how short it's going to be. So to me, it's annoying. They're not consistent at all. I mean, I know that like the plays are kind of different. Nothing's quite exactly the same, but you set precedents for stuff and you should go off of that. And they don't seem to do that. So it's kind of annoying. I think they need to kind of overhaul it and make it a kind of a blanket thing if they can, to an extent, so that you kind of expect to know, okay, a high stick to the face, regardless if there's an injury or not, should be 2 games. Okay, fine. Then when there's another thing that happens where it's a high stick to the face, no intent to injure, automatically, okay, we know that's going to be a 2-game suspension. You know what I mean? Yeah. Instead of like, oh, there's a hearing today. I wonder how it's going to go. I wonder how long it's going to be. It's just annoying. So player safety really, really annoys me to no end.
I'm going to let you get to the player card thing that we were talking about from The Athletic in just a second, but I want to bring up one thing first. It's very short. Kellen Foster says, I do have to ask, did y'all get a chance to see the Timu, I'm going to butcher this name, Hartikainen shootout attempt in the Hockey Euro tournament? Absolutely. Yes, I did. Viral. I mean, this thing was absolute bonkers. I don't even know if I can explain it with words. I think you have to see it for yourself. Okay. Right. But I will try. Here it goes. The one-handed tuck, right? Where he skates in, he puts it on his backhand, and he makes the goalie bite to the forehand really hard, and then puts the puck on the backhand, reaching really far and wide, and just ever so slightly tops it with the blade of his stick on the backhand, and is able to just kind of tuck it into the goal. You know what I'm talking about, Aaron?
Yeah. Yeah, because you did it, or we tried to do it on NHL.
We did try to do it. Yeah, I'm successful maybe 10% of the time. Nick HBK, 55% of the time. Anyway, so tries to do that at first, right? But then he gets it on the toe of his stick with one hand. Okay, one hand, just the top hand, gets it on the toe of his stick, whips it around, and is able to go trying to shoot it short side again. Again, words can't do it justice. I'm doing the best I can, but you have to see the thing. It's like he tries to go for the tuck, but then he whips it with one hand all the way back around short side and takes a shot. Mind blowing. I've never seen anything like it before. So definitely, so the guy's name is Timu Hartikainen, Hartikainen. For the folks on the podcast, look that thing up. It is absolute bonkers. When I saw this, I like my kids. I scared my kids. And my kids went, "What's going on?" So, yeah, no, it was absolutely amazing. I think he missed a shot. He hit the boards or something, but it was just like the attempt itself, mind blowing. Anyway, that was supposed to be shorter than it was. So now we're gonna get to the player cards here. So, Aaron, The Athletic does this thing with player cards. Please explain.
So they make them kind of look like hockey cards, right? And they give you a score. There's a bunch of formulas. I don't really need to get into the nitty gritty details of it. It is behind a paywall on The Athletic, so I don't want to give everything away as well. But essentially what it does is it breaks down everybody on the team, all the starters essentially, and shows you what their salary is, shows you what their market value is in terms of a bunch of different things in the formula. So it includes their ice time, the goals, assists, points, expected goals, penalty difference if they're drawing more or taking more, their offensive, defensive, their usage, all kinds of stuff. And it spits out a score. And then it gives it like a market value of $1 value. So I'll give you an example. The very first one is Timo Meier. His salary right now is $6 million, and we know he's up for a pay raise, but how much? The market value right now is $10.2 million. And we've said I think Randy said it's going to probably take $8 to $10 million for 8 years to get him to stay in San Jose. That's roughly where his market value is. It's right now it's 10.2. Now these numbers were taken. It was updated on Monday of this week, so things have even changed when I looked at it last week. Because the one guy I wanted to bring up, or one of the few that I was going to bring up, was Kevin Labanc. Kevin Labanc, everyone always likes to dump on his salary. His salary is $4.7 million. It's 4.75. His market value, you know what his market value is now after the week? Because I told you last week, Paul, it's changed. What would you guess his market value is if his salary is 4.75?
Before he decided to shoot the puck, his market value was probably 750,000.
Not
Now that
quite
he's
that low.
I don't care. I don't care. That's for me.
Okay.
The Paul market value. PMV. His PMV was 750,000. Now that he's decided he's a sniper and he's shooting the puck like he should have been doing in the first place. I don't know. He's got to be over 3 million because you're smiling. He's over 3 million.
Well, last week when we were talking about it, he was at 5 something. He was over by, I think he was $1 million over his salary. Right now he's at 4.8, which is market value. It's 4.7 is the salary, so he's right at where he should be. So people dumping on him, he's right where he should be.
So essentially, the hockey cards take a look at the player's performance and they compare it to what their current salary is and what somebody who's performing this way should be getting paid. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
AKA
so he's outperforming his
value.
contract is your point.
What's that?
He's outperforming his contract.
He's performing at his contract.
Sorry. Before he was at 5 million or so.
Yeah.
Right? Now he's
last
at 4.8.
Week he was outperforming it. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Last week it was showing that he was outperforming his contract, but
Gotcha.
It's now changed. I'll give you another extreme example of Oscar Lindblom. His salary is $3 million per season. The market value is league minimum.
Yep.
It has him as a minus 4.1, which means he would be paying the Sharks money because he's that bad. I'm not trying to pick on him, just based on his play. It's not good. It's a good simple eye test, right? Like we know because we're watching. Like it's just not good. One I'm kind of surprised at, and I don't really agree with. This isn't a perfect model either. And here's an example: Nico Sturm.
Oh,
to me, Nico Sturm is probably almost team MVP outside of scoring. Team MVP just being a leader and doing everything that you would want a hockey player to do. His salary is $2 million, which I think is underpaid, especially when you look at Oscar Lindblom. His market value is only $1.5 million, so he's actually underperforming where his market value is. I don't really like that one. So it's not. To me, it's not perfect. All right, okay. I'll do two more that stand out. One everyone's going to want to know: Erik Karlsson. Erik Karlsson's salary is $11.5 million. What do you think his market value is? He's having a career year. Maybe not career year, but he's having a very good year.
His PMV, Paul market value, is $45 million.
A year?
Yes.
Okay, I'm done talking.
It's worth it.
His market value is 9.8, so he's just under by only 1.7.
Yeah.
He's up there though. He's up there.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear one that makes you sad?
One that makes me sad?
I'll give you one more that makes you sad and one that makes you very happy.
Okay.
Mario Ferraro.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
3.3 million.
Yeah.
League minimum.
No.
So
it's a flawed model, buddy.
He's minus 5.3.
It's a flawed model.
Okay. Last defenseman, Matt Benning.
Matt Benning. Who's a phenomenal talent, an amazing player. And I don't care what any of you guys say. And no, it has nothing to do with the 2 sticks that he gave to my kids. So go ahead, Aaron.
Matt Benning's salary is his salary is 1.3 million.
Yes.
His market value is 4.2.
Oh,
that's a surplus of 3. That's fantastic value. That's the value right there.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll give you one goalie. Do you want Kakkonen or Reimer? I think we know.
Oh God! You know what? I want both. Give me both. Come on, we got time.
All right. I just feel bad giving this away. James Reimer, his salary is 2.3.
Okay.
His market value is 3.1. So that's good because the Sharks are going to trade him. He's not going to be a Shark for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Now Capo's salary is 2.8. He's paid more than Reimer. Market value, league minimum.
Really?
Minus 5.7. He's not
Wow.
he's not having a good season. A lot of it has to do with the goal. What is it? The goals expected save. I forget what they call it. I forget the
Goals
goals
saved above
above
average or goals expected goal saves or something. I don't know, man.
goals. It's like it takes all the goalies in the league,
Yeah.
finds a median, and that's what they're expected to make. And are they above that line or behind it? That's kind of the thinking, right? He's well behind it. So he is worse than the league average goalie. That's the way.
Kellen says he wants Martin Jones player card.
I can pull it up.
Okay, yeah, pull it up. Now, here's the thing. Go ahead and give this to him. I will say this: you're worried about because it's a paywall and everything, but this is good information, and it's stuff that's going to change in a week, in a day, right? So
it changes every Monday. It updates.
Yeah, every Monday. Okay, so I feel like this is something that is something that people who want to read this information would be very interested in. And if you are interested in that, please feel free, because we're not always going to bring this up. Feel free to subscribe to The Athletic. They are phenomenal at what they do. The writing there is great. Corey Masisak is awesome. He's very into the numbers and whatnot. So a lot of this stuff, this is all stuff that you will be reading in the articles as well. And Corey does a great job. We've had him on the show before. We absolutely support him. There's only really two sources that we go after, and it's The Athletic and then Sheng Peng with San Jose Hockey Now. Those are the two our favorite to read, and they have really good information. They do a really great job. So absolutely, we would pump those guys to you. So there you go.
There you go. The player cards. So Dom is the one who does all the player cards. It's not actually Corey, but Corey references these all the time and uses them in his articles, so you can see where he's getting these numbers from. All right, the last one I got here, since they wanted it, is Martin Jones. He's making $2 million, and he was having a very good year this year. I don't know if you knew that. He was actually doing very well. He was having a very good bounce back season. Market value, league minimum.
Oh.
Surplus value of negative 2.3. So there you go.
Not as negative as Capo was.
No.
Okay.
So he's bad, but not as bad. Sure.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I mean, that was fun. I appreciate that. Thank you for doing the work there and getting the player card stuff. I'll figure it out. And again,
Great.
guys, if this is stuff that you're interested in, 100%, check out The Athletic. They usually have some sort of, well, they did Black Friday, but they have some other like deals like for holiday and whatnot, where they do it for like $1 or something like that. I mean, it's like the cost of a cup of coffee. So, I mean, realistically, yeah, this is something that any of you guys, if you're interested in any of this information, it's not that much to really go out and get that information. And they do a great job. So absolutely, The Athletic, check them out for sure. Aaron, anything else about the player cards? Is there no big nuggets that you want to, or just some overarching thing that you want to spill about what you've learned here today?
Sure. I mean, I love these player cards because I love that they update them every week. It's not just something they do once a season. To me, it's a good base point for value of players and how good guys are, especially like how good they're playing and how much value you have. Now, we always talk about, everyone likes to dump on Marc-Edouard Vlasic's contract, but if they had these player cards back when he was actually at the top of his game, he would have been well surpassed what his value was. His market value had been a lot higher than what he was getting paid. Now that he's finally getting paid, his market value has dropped, and now everyone hates it. But they don't hate it when, hey, they're getting a deal. Like Timo Meier right now, they're paying him $6 million, and he's playing like a $10 million forward. That's pretty cool. Is he getting paid $10 million? No. Should he get paid $10 million? Yeah, he's put in the work. He's put in all the work. So it kind of goes on my argument now that we'll have this like kind of base, and I'm not sure how they can historically go back to see the market value kind of going up and down. But I'm sure that's in there somewhere. Anyway, I'd be interested to see that kind of like stock market, like kind of going up and down. That's the player's stock.
Yeah. Kellen saying that The Athletic has a great deal as the new year hits. So if you are interested in that, again, guys, keep an eye on The Athletic, and I'm sure you'll see that they're giving some sort of a deal, some sort of promotion. They do it all the time. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Do I want to move on? Hold on. Kellen Foster says, with Hertl being suspended, how do you think the Sharks will line up? And do you think the game will be competitive? I don't think the game will be nearly as competitive because you're missing your best center. I mean, save Logan Couture, right? But I don't think it'll be nearly as competitive. But I don't know that Aaron and I want to be very competitive anyway. So
no, and we'll see. Bonino's probably going to slot in as the second line center. Couture will get moved to the top line. Kind of throws things in a blender. But we've talked about this in the beginning of the season. The Sharks cannot, to stay competitive, they can't lose any of those top 5 guys, really. And that's Hertl, Couture, Meyer, Carlson, and Reimer.
Right.
Anyone outside of that, they could probably weather it for a little bit. But you miss one of those guys out of your lineup, you're going to really feel it. It's going to be bad. So I don't know. Thankfully, it's only 2 games. It's Calgary, Minnesota. We talk about that. Calgary rematch from, what was that, Sunday, last night. I think it's going to get chippy. It's Daryl Sutter's team. It's going to get chippy. What?
Question for you.
What?
Do they call up Bordelot?
No.
I want them to call up Bordelot.
Those guys aren't getting called up unless some guys get traded and they need to really fill in some holes in the lineup. So I don't think Bordelot's going to get called up.
It's just a game. It's one game.
They want him to overbake at the AHL level.
And they still can. You can't. I mean, come on. Look, you go into Seas Candy. You go into Seas Candy, Aaron. You don't have to buy all the nuts and chews. They'll give you a sample at the door. That's all.
You know what's going to happen? Bordelot's going to score a hat trick, and then Hertl's going to come back from suspension, and everyone's going to say, "Why are you sending Bordelot down? Just causes a headache. It's not worth it. Not this season. It's not worth it this season."
Quick roll call. Did you guys like my analogy? My Seas Candy analogy?
No, don't answer that. Don't answer
that. Okay. Like you said.
Kellen, last 10 games of the season, the kids will play. That's when I think they'll get called up after the trade deadline and players are gone. That's when I think they'll probably get called up.
Sure.
To kind of reward them and give them a taste of the NHL action, the whole lifestyle and everything, because then they'll know when they go back over the summer going into next season what they always meet with the players and tell them what they want them to work on and like strengthen up and bulk up and do all this stuff. So that's fresh in their head and they'll be ready to go into training camp, ready to go and compete for a NHL starting lineup.
You can still get a game in before all that happens. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Not going to happen.
Hateful.
Not going to happen.
Hateful, Aaron. 2 games this coming week. We got tomorrow against Calgary. And then Thursday against Minnesota. The Calgary game, I'm expecting a little something with regard to the whole Hertl situation there. I'm expecting just a little bit of chippiness, and rightfully so. Again, if you're going to cross-check our guy 3 times in a row, I could care less that he got suspended. I'm not fighting you because of that. I'm fighting you because I should have fought you in the first game, right after that happened. You don't get to get away with that kind of stuff. And the fact that didn't happen kind of rubs me the wrong way. So I would be looking for some sort of response in this game. But I don't know. Aaron, what do you think about this one here? Obviously, Sharks aren't going to be nearly as competitive without Hertl. Do you think there's any sort of response? Do you think they just get thumped? What do you think about this game?
I don't know. I mean, I thought they played well up until the third period. So I don't know. Yeah, there's Kim. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Paul. Stopping by to show my support. I know nothing about hockey, but yes, I understand Seas Candy. Y'all look fabulous. Thanks, Kim. It's Kim T, our classmate from Cabrini.
Oh, what's up, Kim? How you doing? Yeah, jeez, that's a throwback. My goodness. Hey, I appreciate you stopping in, Kim. And you see, Aaron, I'm bridging gaps. Okay, even though we've known her since kindergarten, she doesn't know anything about hockey, but she understands the Seas Candy reference. So I'm doing, I don't know, Thornton's work.
Your one semi-pop culture reference.
Okay, so tell me about Calgary real quick then.
I think it's just going to get, it's going to be a nitty gritty game. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring affair. Plus Reimer's probably going to be playing in it. So they'll have better goaltending than with Kapanen. So maybe he keeps them in this one and they sneak out a win, but doubtful.
All right. and the game against Minnesota. Do you feel any which way about this game? I could really care less. But what do you what do you think about the Minnesota game? Anything special to look out for? Who do they got? In the wings here. With
Minnesota's got Kaprizov, and they're actually a pretty hot team right now, so they're looking pretty good. I think that one's going to be a harder game than the Calgary game. Calgary's going to be more physical. Minnesota will be more. If they could stop Kaprizov, they'll most likely have a good chance to win.
I saw a clip of the Wild, and I can't remember who, where Fleury was trying to pick up his blocker or his glove or something was on the ice, and the guy kept kind of knocking it away. And Fleury grabs his helmet, pulls it off, and chucks it across the ice. Yeah, good stuff there. So hey, it could be a pretty entertaining game to watch. Who knows? And yes, Peter St. John says, you guys go back to kindergarten? Yes, we do. Aaron and I have been friends since kindergarten. I shouldn't say since, but back in kindergarten, there was a brief hiatus, I think, where we weren't really chatting with each other much. But I mean, we've always kind of just been friends. But yes, we go back to kindergarten. And Kim, the person who liked my analogy, I'm just going to keep saying that they like my analogy, Aaron. That person, Kim, we've known her since kindergarten as well, if I'm correct. She was a kindergarten kid too. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, we're doing the whole reunion thing on the Fin Factor here. It's awesome stuff. And of course, as many of you guys know, and some of you don't, Jason, super producer Jason, is Aaron's older brother and went to the same school that we all did, just 2 years ahead. So,
and your sister did too.
And my sister has nothing to do with the Sharks or anything else, but
get on with it.
Yes, get on with it.
Yes, get on with it.
I agree. Nobody cares. So there you go. Aaron, any last things here to bring up about the Sharks? Any last, again, overarching themes? A message of the day.
We got 2 games, then we go into the Christmas break, and I think they're off. There's no games on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday across the whole NHL. So we'll have a little bit of a break, and we ourselves will not be having a show on Christmas night. Sorry to bum you all out, but we'll be taking a week off and spending it with our families.
Okay.
Right?
I think so. I think that's happening. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, cool. Well, if that does it, then I'm going to go through my spiel real quick and just remind you guys. And thank you guys, actually, the guys that chipped in for the super chat and supporting the show that way. Thank you so much. We do appreciate that. It does help keep the LED lights on, and it keeps the virtual background still virtual. Otherwise, we don't have the fun, and this just all turns green right behind me, guys. So again, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support there. If you'd like to do the same thing, again, super chat is available to you. You can also go to the Venmo at the Fin Factor. Man, words elude me. English is my first language. I promise you that. So at the Fin Factor, if you'd like to tip us there, obviously the show's pretty much over. So if you have a comment there, we can go ahead and add it in to the next show, whenever that may be. If you'd like to get something in return for your support, you can go to thefinfactor.com, go to the support the show link, and you can get hats, shirts, water bottles, fanny packs, stickers, all kinds of stuff. You will not get an honorary I went to kindergarten with Aaron and Paul t-shirt or anything. So sorry, that's not available. But the rest of the stuff absolutely is. So go ahead and check that out. Again, what's this? I'm waiting on a TFF sweatshirt, hopefully tomorrow. Oh, yeah, cool. Great, Debbie. Hey, again, thank you so much for supporting the show. See, Debbie's smart. She's supporting us, and she's getting something in return. Thank you so much, Debbie. Do appreciate it. What else, Aaron? Anything else? We good?
Yeah.
Living in the carpet square. I don't know what that means.
We never left our carpet square from the Fin Factor. That's what my brother wrote.
Oh,
Paul's
again,
a little slow.
I wish I knew what that meant. It's
Pardon my
really
friend.
Funny.
He's a little slow.
I'm so sorry. Who was better at coloring? Aaron. Aaron was probably better at coloring in kindergarten.
Sure.
No? Okay.
I don't know.
Hell, I'm going to say get on with it. Okay, here we go. For super producer Jason.
Get on with it.
Was there. I was right there. So for super producer Jason, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
in 2 weeks.
Oh, I can't lie. It was, a lot.
Merry Christmas.
Why?
Happy New
What did I
Jeez.
do to deserve this? We will see you guys when, Aaron?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Enjoy your break from us. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our show.